welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sierra. As you can tell by today's video title, this is how I'm dealing with mental illness part 3. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I posted one of these, but it's just been super hectic. I did go to therapy 2 weeks ago, but it was really a short session, and I basically just talked about my week and then we left. There wasn't really much to go over. And then last week I didn't go, and it is currently September 24th as I'm filming this, so you will be seeing this several weeks after I'm filming it. But I just left. For those of you that don't already know, I quit my job as of right now, about 2 weeks ago. So I've just been at home. I've had a couple interviews, but as of right now, I haven't heard anything official, yes or no, back from any of them yet, so I'm still waiting on that. So I haven't gotten a new job yet, and I've just been kind of sitting at home, in my opinion, not really doing much. And the first, week, that was fine, but this past week, it's kind of been weighing on me. I'm not doing anything with my life. I'm not doing anything with my days. I'm just being lazy and, don't feel productive, don't feel motivated, don't really feel like I'm doing anything. And, like I said, it's been weighing on me really heavy, so we talked about that. And just, in me telling her about my week, she picked up on, I was feeling very down about myself and, very hard on myself. So she went over this thing, and she, got out of the big, notebook pads, the big, huge ones that teachers use. And we went over, I can't remember what she called it. It was, cognitive dissonance or something like that. And basically, it's a cycle of you keep telling yourself, negative things, and then it starts to affect your mood, and then that, in turn, starts to affect your behavior, and then it just is a big cycle. So she tried the CBT, method. I'm not exactly sure what that stands for, but she tried that, and it's basically, where you change what you're telling yourself. You make it more positive than the negative things you're telling yourself. And for me, that's really hard because I am very hard on myself 99% of the time, and I know what I'm capable of. And if I'm not doing something productive, or I'm not doing what I feel is my best, then I start to be oh, well, you're not good enough, you're not doing anything with your life, no one's proud of you, kind of thing. Even though no one said that they're not proud of me and said that I'm a lazy piece of crap, no one's pressuring me to get out of the house and do something except for myself, but that's been weighing really heavy on me. And so she tried to get me to change the way I thought, but like I said, for me, that's very hard. So she went back to the ACT method, which I mentioned in my first video, and I'm not sure about the second one, but she was well, let's do it that way. Let's just try to stick with that, since this does seem to be so difficult for you. And that is basically, she told me, you don't change the way you think, you just change the tune of it, literally. So she was what's a song that you like, or that you find really annoying, either way? And I was this is going to sound stupid, but the Baby Shark song drives me absolutely nuts. And so she starts singing my thoughts in the Baby Shark tune, and it's just, so irritating. And she's so if you do that, you're going to be okay, this is stupid, why am I doing this? And then you're going to stop. And she was I'm not saying that that's going to work forever, and I'm not saying that it's necessarily the solution to your problems, but it is a start to get you to stop thinking those negative thoughts. So she was because you're doing the best you can with what you have, which is, you did quit your job, but you're applying for new jobs. You're not sitting at home literally doing nothing. She was because I had told her, I'd been going to visit my friends. I'd been cleaning my room a lot. I had been taking my dog out for, walks and taking him on trips and stuff. She was you're not doing nothing. She was it's just nothing compared to what you were doing. She was you just feel it's not good enough. So she was since you don't want to, not that I don't want to change my thoughts, just that it's very hard for me to. She was it may be easier for you to just sing this annoying song and be okay, that's annoying, I'm not doing that anymore. Because then after you sing it in the annoying tune so many times, you're not going to be able to say it normal. That's just how you're going to hear it, so you're going to stop telling yourself that. And she was and for a little while, that might make you feel better. And she was that's probably, that's, the first step to the solution, the overall solution or whatever. But I have been doing a lot better. I haven't had any panic attacks in probably over a month. So, not that I was having them frequently before. It wasn't an everyday thing. Not necessarily even an every week thing, but it was just too many. And I have not been doing that. Like I mentioned in my last video, the 4-7-8 breathing has really been helping me. And just realizing, you know, you're not crazy. Like, your body's just reacting, like, basically for survival, but mine's just in overdrive. And we talked about that today, that I'm very much of a control freak, but not necessarily in a bad, it's not a bad thing to be a control freak, it's just a bad thing when I let it overtake my emotions and my feelings and how I act towards people and towards situations. That's when it becomes a problem. So we, you know, kind of whenever, don't stress over things that you cannot change. So, like right now, I'm waiting to hear back from jobs, and I can't make them make a decision any faster. I can't make them choose me necessarily. So I just have to sit and wait, and I have to be content in that and know that there's nothing else that I can physically do to make them go faster or to make them call me back sooner or to choose me over someone else. You know, there's really nothing else that I personally can do. I just have to, you know, let it be, and let it fall into place as it's supposed to, because I've done everything on my end that I can do. You know, I applied for the job, I went to the interview, I did the best I could in the interview, and I felt really good about it, and, you know, I am just waiting on them. So, not letting myself get down and out about things that I literally have no control over. So that was a big part. Another problem that she said I probably had doing the CBT method of changing the way that I talk to myself, basically. She was like, let's do like a best friend, like role play type thing. And like, that was even hard for me. She was like, you seem like you're probably very critical of other people. And I was like, I would say to an extent, yes, especially people that I love. Like, I want them to put their best foot forward because I know that they are great people and I know that they have great potential. And when they don't do things to their fullest or do things to live up to their fullest potential, then I do get frustrated. Because she was like, so it seems like that you think since you try to do that other people should too. And I was like, you're exactly right. So that was another reason that the whole CBT method didn't really work for me, just because I am so hard on myself and I'm very critical of people close to me, because I do want everyone to succeed. I want everyone that I'm close to do their best and be their best. And sometimes that looks different for other people than it does for me, and like, I just have to be okay with that. Like, I have to let people be themselves, because, you know, everybody's different. Everybody's not going to be able to think the same way or do the same things, and I just have to be okay with that. I can't force the way I do things onto other people, because that's just going to make it worse. So that was another thing. We talked about how, like, as you guys saw in my past videos, I have the Happiness Trap book, and I'll be honest with you, I have not read another page since that first video, just because, one, at first I didn't really feel like I needed it. I kind of felt like I was doing well. I didn't really need, you know, coaching, I guess I would say. I didn't feel like I needed, like, a pep talk until this past week, and things kind of got really rough, but I was just in such a funk. I was like, I know I need to read this book, but I just don't want to. Like, I just would rather take a nap. And she was like, yeah, exactly. And she was like, and that's your behavior, that you're reacting to how you're thinking. You know, you're not doing anything with your life. You're not doing anything, sitting at home all day. So once you tell yourself that so much, like, you're really just going to do nothing, which is exactly what I did on Tuesday. Like, I literally came home, I turned on my TV, I laid in bed for like 4 hours straight, and I was like, I need to read this book. Like, I need some motivation. And I just didn't. I was like, I don't want to. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to watch TV, and I'm going to be lazy. Like, I'm not doing any of that. So I think I'm going to go in here, maybe not today, just because it was a lot to take in today. It was a very long session. I know I probably talked through that very fast. And obviously I didn't give you guys all the details just because it was so much to take in. So I'm probably not going to go in and do that right now, just because it would be like an overload of information. So either tonight or maybe tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure, I'll probably dive back into that book and get at least through the second chapter, hopefully maybe the third as well. And I will update you guys on what I learned from that and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll just catch up with you guys later. So it is now October 2nd, and I went to therapy yesterday. I know it's been a while since I filmed the first half of this video. But I did sit down and read the next 2 chapters of my book before therapy yesterday. So the session after the one I filmed for the beginning of this video. And I just kind of wanted to tell you guys like what I learned from what I read, or like what I did read about. So the second or the third chapter, I guess, is Vicious Cycles. That's the name of the chapter. And it basically talked about how whenever you're feeling things like anxiety and stuff like that, and you let it take over your day and your life, you get stuck in a vicious cycle. So it gave examples, and the easiest one for me was like just the easiest for me to understand. It says Danielle's out of shape. She wants to get fit again, so she starts working out. But because she's unfit, it's hard work and it feels uncomfortable. She doesn't like the discomfort, so she stops working out, and then her fitness level slides even lower. So basically, like, you feel bad about yourself, you do something to make it better, but that's not a long-term solution, so then you just fall right back into the cycle of feeling bad about yourself. And then it went over like fight or flight strategies and how they are different. And one of them is suppression. It's a fight strategy, and I would definitely categorize myself under doing this. So basically, suppression is when you directly try to suppress your unwanted thoughts and feelings. So you literally just push them to the back of your mind, and it's like, you know, you bottle your feelings up inside. Like, you don't talk about them, you don't do anything about them. You basically just keep them inside and do nothing. But I'm definitely guilty of that because I don't like to, like, not that I don't like to tell people about my problems, but I don't want to bother other people. I don't want to feel like a burden to someone. I don't want people to feel like they have to make me feel better. Like, sometimes I just need to talk about it, which is one of the reasons that I started going to therapy, is because I just wanted to talk about it and, like, not necessarily be fixed, I wouldn't say, because I'll never be like a perfect person, obviously, but just someone that like knows, like, that she doesn't necessarily have to say anything. Like, I just need someone to listen. She has no connection to me to try to fix me. So like when I talk to my mom, like, she wants to make my problems better because she's my mom, or my friends, they want to make my problems go away or make me feel better because they are my friend. And like my therapist, obviously she cares about me and she doesn't want me to like hurt or be in pain or anything like that. But like, she knows that sometimes I just need to let my feelings out. Like, I don't need her to tell me how to fix them. I just need to let it out so that I'll feel better. This chapter also talked about how things like suppression are okay. Another method was zoning out, which is a flight method. One of the examples was using drugs or alcohol to just like be numb, so you don't have to feel anything, you don't have to deal with it. You're not like ignoring it necessarily, but you're not doing anything about it either. Like, I don't know. Like, you know that your problems are there, but you're doing things to like try to override those feelings. And it talks about how things like that are okay in moderation, but once you start to use them every single time something goes wrong, then that's when you're going to run into the problem. That's when it's going to not help anymore. It's going to make things worse, and you get stuck in that vicious cycle like I talked about before. It also talked about how like trying to control things that you can't control can make things worse. So I talked about this earlier, like trying not to control things that you can't change. The example that the book gave is dealing with grief. So whether it's because someone passed away, because someone rejected you, as in they don't want to be your friend, or you didn't get the job, or just separation, like whether it be a marriage or just a friendship ends kind of thing, depending on what it is, just dealing with grief in some kind of way. Grief is normal to anything like that, and basically you just have to accept it for what it is, and eventually like it will hurt less. But no matter how much you tell yourself it doesn't hurt, like it's going to hurt. Like, it's grief, and that's a normal body response, is to be hurt and to be sad or whatever feeling you may have. It's always different for different people. But this is especially something that I've been dealing with. I don't know if it's because the holidays are coming up. Also, my boyfriend's grandpa passed away a couple weeks ago, and it just really has been making me think about whenever my grandpa passed away. I was only 14 at the time, and like, I didn't really not that I didn't understand it, but I didn't deal with it properly because I was 14. I didn't know how to. So I think a lot of those feelings are coming back up now, which sucks because I'm just like, it's been 6 years, like almost 7 years. So I'm like, why am I just now like I'm literally about to cry thinking about it. Like, why am I just now, not just now upset about it, but why am I thinking about it so much so many years later? When I went to therapy yesterday, I actually was talking to her about that and got really emotional and just like upset because, you know, I never dealt with it properly. Like, I feel like everyone else around me kind of had their time to deal with it, but part of me was like, you know, I need to be there for everybody else. Like, I don't want to add on to their grief by me being upset. Not saying that I didn't cry and that I didn't, you know, go through the emotions of grief, because I definitely did, because we were very, very close. But I definitely don't think that I dealt with it to the extent that I should have. And so now I'm like trying to work through that. And so I was talking to my therapist about it, obviously, and she said that like she can tell that it's been weighing on me a lot. The whole, like, I got this tattoo, like it looks really bad right now just because the tape is still on it. I went and got this tattoo, and just like it just been weighing on me really heavy, especially since I had been home thinking about it a lot, I guess. And so she wants to start grief therapy. I'm going back next week, and she wants to start that then, just like the first stages of it, just so I can like really deal with my emotions and accept it, so that like in the future it will definitely still come back up. You know, I'm gonna miss him forever, just because, you know, that was my best friend. Like, he's not here anymore. I'm gonna miss him forever, but I don't have to let that sadness take over me. Like, I can accept it and like remember the good times and stuff like that. So one thing that she had me, or that she wants me to do, is go through and think of like memories and stuff, whether that just be writing down the memories or bringing in pictures or whatever the case may be. So I actually have all of these, like photo albums that I'm gonna go through. So I'm gonna go through all of those, try to find some pictures, and then obviously I have tons of memories that don't have pictures with them, but just kind of writing them down so that we can talk about them. And I think a lot of it too, of why I like have so much grief, is because the last time I saw him was in the hospital, and like he just wasn't himself, obviously. So like my last memories of him weren't like, it didn't feel like it was him. So my last memories of him kind of like, honestly, they kind of suck. And so since those last memories were of him in the hospital and like being at my grandparents' house, like whenever he did pass away, since those are my last memories, it's not hard for me to remember the good ones. It's just the bad ones seem to outweigh the good ones, because it was, for me at that age, it was very traumatic, because as I mentioned in the video where I got my tattoo, that was the first person I had ever really lost that was close to me. So yeah, I'm excited to start this. I know it's gonna be really tough, just because like it sucks. Like, just thinking about it right now, like I'm getting choked up, but like it really does suck. I really hate crying, and I really hate, like, honestly, I really hate feeling vulnerable, and I feel very vulnerable just like talking about this in general, because I don't talk about it a lot, which I think is part of the reason that I've had so much trouble dealing with it, is because like I said before, like I just hold in my feelings a lot. I don't like to talk about it to other people, because I don't want other people to feel bad for me. Like, death happens to everybody in some way at some point in their life, so it's not like I'm the only one that's ever been through it. And I don't know, it's just tough. So yeah, I'm excited to start grief therapy. I think it will be very, very beneficial to me, especially with the holidays and stuff coming up. Obviously, I've had 6 years of holidays without him, but for whatever reason this year, it's just really like sad. I don't know if that's really the word I would like to use, but just really sad, really tough. So yeah. So I think I'm going to end this video here, and I will catch up with you guys next week, or in a couple, I don't know exactly when I'm going to post this video, but I will definitely like keep track of all my grief therapy, what I learned, what we talk about, you know, as I've done for all the weeks before this, so that I can share it with you guys. As I've mentioned in every video, it's okay to not be okay, and if you think you need help, definitely seek help in whatever form, whether it be a friend, a family member, a therapist, whatever that may be. Don't ever let yourself tell yourself that your feelings are not important, because they are. Your mental health is always important, no matter what anyone says. My DMs are always open on Instagram. You can always leave stuff in the comments, whatever you feel comfortable doing. If you ever need someone to talk, I'm always here, stranger or not, because I know that life is tough, and like I said before, it's okay to not be okay, and it is okay to tell someone that you're not feeling okay, because we all have those days where it's just a little crappier than the one before. So yeah, if you guys enjoy these mental health videos, please let me know in the comments. I am going to keep sharing them regardless, to be honest, but if there's anything that you guys would like to know specifically about, you know, how I got started in therapy, or kind of my signs and symptoms of anxiety and depression, kind of how I noticed that was starting, and also how I'm dealing with it, kind of what I think about it. I try to share as much of that with you guys as I can in these videos, but sometimes you may have a specific question If you want to, or if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, my DMs on Instagram, whatever the case may be, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. If you have anything to add, I've really enjoyed doing these videos. It's helped me deal with it a lot better than just like thinking about it to myself, like just talking to a camera. I know it sounds ridiculous, but being able to share it with other people, I'm hoping that I'm making a difference in maybe even just one person's life, but better than nothing. If you guys enjoy these videos, please give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.